Welcome to The Missing Link with Amit, Season 2.
Season 2, theme growth, legacy leadership, family business.
Before I introduce you to the Season 2, Episode 1, let me give you some insights and also behind the scenes about Season 1 and what you have not seen all this while.
Welcome to The Missing Link with Amit. We are now sorry.
But that dude comes with a lot of challenges, like,
We have to give very clear commitments. And these are three different kinds of things that one can use. That is where your drumbills and cymbals should come.
Hi, this is Vinay Bayer with Amit Chatterjee. Welcome to Season 2 of Missing Link with Amit. Hi, Amit.
Morning, Vinay.
Good morning. Amit, with our Season 2, we wanted to bring in topics which are most relevant with respect to today's context, where people are having access to social media, people are having access to so many places where they can binge watch things and sit and watch a lot of videos which are available, be it a podcast, be it so many other things, where the action forefront dips a lot. So it's about overcoming procrastination.
Procrastination, okay.
So first thing, why do people procrastinate?
Well, as usual, there is no general, I would say, logic behind, because it is individualized. People sometimes may procrastinate just because it is a better strategy not to take a decision when, others are expecting them to take a decision. So it could be tactical. They may procrastinate also when they're not very sure about why they have to take whatever call they have to take. So it's not that they're lazy or they're delaying deliberately, no. They have to yet get the clarity of what is the purpose, what is the reason. So it's something which is going on in the decision maker's mind. They could also procrastinate because they're unsure. They're unsure about the context they are in, and they probably need some more information or some more data, to use the current famous word, before they can actually take the decision or take the call. There also would be obviously a lot of people who procrastinate because they're scared. They're scared of the consequences of having taken a decision and acting upon them. So it varies. It really is not something that is uniform as a behavioral tendency from leaders, executives, or managers. It depends on who you're talking to, what context she or he is in, and what is the frame of mind that person has, even on that day, for example, when probably is expected by others that the person should take a decision and she's not taking or he's not taking it.
I mean, most often people won't accept the fact that they're procrastinating. They are, how do we identify our own triggers which make us procrastinate? How do we identify that I'm doing it?
Well, I think, Steve, when we are in the game of meeting expectations of others, which I think, without using that phrase, meeting expectations, most of us are, because we are in relationships, both in the workplace as well as in our personal space. We obviously, in relationships, there is this kind of pressure of expectations that are there, and we have similarly also probably expectations of others, both in the work as well as the personal space. So when we are conscious about an expectation or the expectation from somebody or a group of people, it could be your management, it could be your peers, it could be your team members, just sticking to the professional working space. And then I do have this feeling that, well, I'm expected to take the call or decide and go ahead, but I'm not able to do that for different reasons. But that varies, as I said, that varies from individual to individual in what context we are talking about, and who is the person over there.
Does this affect our mental health, productivity, and success?
It does. It does when, particularly, I try to capture different contexts, individual contexts in the beginning. Why people, when you ask why people procrastinate. But I think probably the last one of them, where somebody is scared, okay, of the consequences, and I'm consciously using the word scared. They're in avoidance mode. And when I'm speaking in first person, when I'm in an avoidance mode, and what I'm trying to avoid is not just the decision that I have to take, but I'm actually trying to avoid the consequences of the decision. Okay, that is when it becomes heavier and heavier on my mind, and it could result in, for example, a lot of stress for me, leading to this buzzword burnouts and stuff like that. And so it can happen, but it doesn't happen to everybody who is seen as procrastinating. I mean, take the first example I gave, somebody who is doing it as a tactical decision, that no, I don't need to take the decision now, okay? And so that is why, even if I know that, people are expecting me to do that, but I'm doing it because I'm waiting for some other things to fall in place, which is not same as I'm waiting for information that I need to take a decision. Okay, so that kind of scenario, there is no stress because that person is leading the way. They're leading himself or herself, saying that no, I don't take the decision now. Okay. In fact, you can see a little smirk on that leader's face because she or he is satisfied with that decision to procrastinate.
Of course, there's two things which you brought in: a strategical delay and the harmful avoidance. These are the two things which are on factors which will
probably
be
two ends of the spectrum of different.
How do you
reasons.
differentiate it? Because one usually are not distinctly clear, saying that because he may tell himself that I am having a strategical avoidance, which I am doing it by purpose, but it will not be so all the time.
Like in one of our episodes earlier, we spoke about pretensions. Okay, and I think we discussed this point that somebody who is pretending, okay, for me to relate to that person or work with that person or have a relationship which creates results or value, I don't have to sit on judgment on why he is pretending. I need to empathize and understand, yes, why he or she is pretending, but then I have to also deal with the pretension as a reality. Because it is the pretension of the other person that I have to work with. I don't have to sit on judgment. That's not my task. My task is to continue the relationship so that we can create value together, right? So therefore, if somebody is pretending, probably your question is, should I be clear that he or she is pretending or not?
It's on the self thing now.
Okay, sorry. So when I am pretending, I'm putting up an act, but I have a reason to do that. Okay, right? And if I'm putting on this act due to, let me use the word motivations. If my motivation is negative, which is that I'm trying to avoid something, my act of pretension will be, I guess, different to your observation, than when I am delaying this and putting on an act because I decided that I will not take the decision now. I think in the second example, you will see probably a kind of a lazy twinkle in my eye, or in the person's eye who is deciding. Because when the person makes a choice, the person makes it out of conviction, and you see a more confident manifestation in behavior, in body language. Okay, let's not forget that it's not just the words of the pretender that we have to go by. Okay, it is said that in communication, words only constitute 10% of the communication. There is 70% body language, there is 20% tone, intonation.
But what if he himself is trying to recognize it and improvise? I mean, how will he differentiate it?
How does the observer differentiate?
Not the observer. I myself am an observer and I want to get out of that.
I know why I'm pretending, particularly when I'm deciding to delay my decision. Okay, I may not be so sure when I'm pretending because I'm scared of the consequences or I'm trying to avoid the consequences. Then my pretension probably would be much easier thing to read, because I will not be so confident anyway, because I'm suffering from lack of confidence in being able to take a decision. Okay, and that state of me will not be similar to when I have made a choice to take the decision now. So I will feel weaker when I'm pretending, or putting up an act is probably my favorite way of expressing it, because I'm unsure, because I'm scared, I'm apprehensive of the consequences. That's a motivation, or that's a kind of state of mind which does not make me feel good. So when I'm not feeling good, okay, I'm doing this more for negative motivations. But when I feel good, but I yet do not, I choose not to take a decision. We had this famous Prime Minister of our country, Mr. Narasimha Rao, and he said not taking a decision is also a decision. When people used to blame him that he's not coming out with, clear statements. And but maybe others are expecting, but he takes a decision, no, I don't take a decision now, or I don't speak out now. That person is, entire body language, tone, everything is very confident. And again, to this question, I will feel weak, I will feel vulnerable. And a person who feels vulnerable because of negative motivations, either being unsure of why at all the decision should be taken, or more importantly, when I'm trying to avoid the consequences, then I'm in a weaker mindset. I feel weak, I feel scared.
Is there any way that we can see procrastination as a positive thing?
Yeah, as I said, I mean, when you make a choice to delay a decision, you don't see it as procrastination.
Conscious taken decision.
It's a conscious choice you make because you're waiting for some other things to fall in. Okay, you want, for example, there could be another context that you want to kind of spring a surprise with your decision, and you're waiting for the right moment.
And we also said that the fear of something, of consequences, and
that's a negative
reality, it's a negative motivation. How can one overcome that fear and accept that vulnerability and come out of that, so that the procrastination for him works in his favor as a positive?
Yeah, I mean, we go back to classical principle again of clarity of purpose. Now, anybody who has to take a decision, okay, whether he or she is the CEO of a company or a 35-year-old team lead, for example, or even a younger person, but a decision has to be taken. If that individual is absolutely convinced about the answer to the why he has to take a decision, which leads to inner conviction, okay, then procrastination will not happen. On the other hand, if I'm not clear, okay, about why the hell I am doing, have to do whatever I'm doing. Sometimes we go through those phases, and even we go through different contexts in our both work and personal space, right? And when I'm not clear about what is the purpose for this, that is when this procrastination is seen as a manifestation. Now, to overcome that, I have to essentially go back to the drawing board and clarify what is the purpose. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Do I belong here? Or do I need somewhere else to go, for example, right? So to find that acceptance within oneself about why I am where I am, why I'm playing the role what I'm playing, including in the personal space. I'm a son of my parents. And there may be sometimes stages that, okay, what should I do? I'm not even saying that, this is about taking care of only sick parents, even very fit parents. Sometimes we have arguments. I've had debates with my father for endless, time periods, but we enjoyed it, both of us. But sometimes when we are not having the same purpose in our mind, then it's not a debate. It could be an argument, or it could be just simple stoic silence. And I'm not sure then, because I still want to have a relationship with my father on a positive plane. So clarity of purpose, I gave deliberately an example which is very close to somebody's life, Okay, whether you're a daughter to a parent or son or whatever, it doesn't matter. But the point is that when anybody has the clarity of purpose or works towards the clarity of purpose, that removes this unsureness, that removes this ambiguity in mind, and then procrastination doesn't happen.
We set up a purpose, we have the why sorted out. Is there a step-by-step guide as a effective strategy that one can have once they have that resolve of purpose sorted out, that they can take up step by step?
Yeah,
Because
that's what you
as
do
a habit setting.
in decision making. I think then we have to kind of reframe the point as that: are we in the business of preventing procrastination, or are we discussing about how to do effective decision making? So as we all know that effective decision making is obviously about meeting the purpose or achieving the goals that you have for which you are taking a decision. So you have to have your resource planning, milestones, all kinds of resource, including your time, including your mental time, for example, not just money and people and tools and technology. So that obviously I think is quite well known to almost all managers or executives, anybody working in the professional space. I always give this example, have you ever heard a marriage getting delayed?
Classic example.
I've always given it, I loved it because I've had my both children married off some years back now, and no marriages ever gets delayed. Why? Because
The purpose is clear.
nobody lacks in clarity of the purpose.
True.
Whether it is like in most Indian context, it is the father, mother of the, girl or son, boy who is getting married, or even uncles and aunts. It's not about just, these people nowadays, the professional middlemen who arrange all the party and the decoration and stuff. It's about the person who who may not even know how to do project planning, but actually does a fantastic project planning. Okay, so marriages never get delayed, never get postponed, because you are very clear why are you going for this. But projects get delayed. We all know that. Okay, not necessarily all projects, but those projects do get delayed, not just because of some mistake in planning, but also because people are not sure sometimes. And they delay the decision because of different factors, as we discussed. Sometimes it is just a relationship issue. I may be a project manager, but I'm not able to trust some of my project team leads or whoever it is, or vice versa, for example. Okay, right? And that is why the project also gets delayed. When I lack in the trustful relationship, I'm scared of taking decisions because I'm not sure whether my decision will be executed or not. Okay, and this works both ways between the so-called junior and the senior. It's not one way only. So, yeah, procrastination is both negative and positive as a result, for sure. But it can be a deliberate decision. It can also be a decision which is not being taken because the person concerned is apprehensive of the consequences.
The manager, when he is trying to help his team get out of procrastination, is there a way where he can create an environment which will favor them, help them out to get out of this?
Yeah, we all know that a manager's principal job is not only to know what has to be done by the team, but more about that, to ensure the success of his or her team members. Now, to succeed, each team member needs what? The first and foremost thing is obviously the skills and the knowledge, for which you have recruited anybody. So normally, at least in normal scenarios, you don't have any kind of deficit in the domain knowledge or skills that an individual needs to have. But there are other things which are like resources that are outside the circle of control for that individual contributor or a team member. And that's exactly the task of the manager, to ensure that all the resources that he or she needs, each of the team members, is in place. Because that's exactly why he is being paid more, the manager.
True.
That's his job. So in short, I would say, to ensure the success of your team member, whatever is outside the circle of control or influence, particularly circle of control of your team member, is what you are paid for. You have to ensure that everything is in place. Okay, so tools, technologies, systems, processes, and then finally, most importantly, that you have to ensure that your team member feels positively inclined to do what he or she has to do. Okay, I'm probably using milder words, but I would say that, the team member should be actually enjoying what you're, but that always does not happen, because a lot of normal day-to-day tasks, which Ralph Stacey calls the simple tasks, which means you're dealing with knowns. So that is almost 70%, 75% of any organization's task. Not every task that any individual has to do is always enjoyable. But the manager has to ensure that there is an environment which at least recognizes the significance and importance. For example, take accounting. Now somebody is, feeding in the data through which the accounting gets done. Now it is in ERP or SAP or BAN systems, right? Now if that person is not motivated, okay, enough to at least check that the correct information is going in, right? Or sometimes there's a human error, the whole system is going to crash. It won't work. So it appears to be a very simple task. It doesn't need a great amount of, tacit knowledge or anything like that, right? But sometimes one does make a human error. And why? Because the attention of the mind is distracted by whether some negative thoughts or by some troubles that in an individual. And that is what a manager is supposed to watch over and take care that this person is in a positive mold when he or she is working, for example. So all these things, not only just the physical resources or knowledge resources, systems, processes, tools, but also that the person is inclined, each team member is inclined positively to do whatever has to be done. Even if some of those tasks that has to be done are not always, creative and enjoyable and challenging, because you don't get, see, at home also, if you have to cook every day, I can cook, but if I have to cook every day, I think I will be not enjoying it. But I love to cook when I'm cooking, once in a week or something like that.
A person who is perfectionist
Yeah.
and highly motivated, how does procrastination affect him?
Sometimes people who are, who want to achieve perfection, who really enjoy that achievement of perfection, they do also end up procrastinating because due to different reasons, they're not sure that they will be able to give a perfect outcome. It could be that, they don't have all the resources in place and they have to overexert maybe whatever resources are there, and they're not sure that will lead to perfection. Or it could be that, they don't still have the best tools that they are aware of, but they have to work with some lesser tools which the organization is able to provide with, or the manager has provided. And then they kind of, don't get into it because they are convinced, no, I need a better tool or better system, to deliver that perfection. It could also be that they may be in a frame of mind where they know that they're not, present, mentally present, for example. They may be working, sitting in their chair or their desk, everything is there, but due to other factors, they're not mentally present. So they procrastinate. They are seen to be procrastinating, but basically they are just, waiting for getting that power of the presence, because they are perfectionists. They understand. They may not use the same words as I'm using, but they understand that I'm not there still. So let me not start it because I may end up, making errors, which that a perfectionist hates to happen in his or her life. So there are different reasons that even a perfectionist does appear to be procrastinating, but yes, it happens when they're not sure about giving a perfect outcome.
Will a accountability partner from the management side will help on these occasions?
It always helps. It always helps. I mean, in my time, we didn't have this concept of accountability partners, so it's a bit new for me. But yet, I do understand that, whenever somebody is not sure due to different reasons, not only competence. Okay, we always address this competence issue easily and mostly. But it's not only just the competence that makes somebody, lack of competence, which makes somebody feel unsure. There are so many things. There are, environmental issues. There are family issues. Somebody comes from the family and there is some trouble, some heaviness is weighing on the minds because of real life that happens to everybody, for example. And there could be resource issues, as I said. There could be quality of resource issues, okay, which is probably quite rampant in most organizations because organizations are in constant flux of change. Sure. And the expectations sometimes are overtaking the rate of change in the processes, systems, and resources that are being provided for individuals to work upon. So the expectations are probably linked to better quality of resources that should come in, but they're yet to come. But yet, the expectation that either the management has or the individual has of himself is that I should still produce the best results. And mostly these perfectionists, they always want to, they don't like any kind of adultery with the quality of results, They always want to deliver the best quality. Somebody who gives the best, and produces the best. So they shirk. They shirk from those kind of environments or circumstances which they know that it is not going to, allow me to give what I want to give, what I can give. And so it's about, it's a different way it works for the so-called perfectionists, as you said.
Procrastination was there earlier. It's there now.
Part of human behavior, for sure,
Yes.
for different reasons we discussed.
But today we have more tools like technology, the easier way of doing things, access to so much of technology. But still the rate has always swung up.
Okay.
And why is this happening? It's supposed to go down with a lot of access to tools and helpful measures.
Well, I think that, from also what I experience in my coaching practice and everybody, of course, are dealing with the most modern tools. I think all this technology, to an extent, has denuded the identity of the contributors. It has kind of taken away, and individuals probably may feel that the credit is going more to the tools and technologies rather than me, I, having done something. So, and that's against the the psychological needs of being a human being. It applies to me, to you, to everybody, I guess.
That was a wonderful inputs given on procrastination, Amit. I guess the missing link and the fix for it is understanding the why equation and the purpose for which they are signing up for. I guess that will clear out a lot of air for them in terms of how to deal with procrastination. Thank you so much on this, and looking forward for one more episode with a lot of insights.